What's up, guys? It's TechnoViking23 coming to you today with some Destiny 2 commentary. And the hype train is in full mode for Destiny 2 Forsaken, which is going to be the new expansion coming out in September. All the Destiny YouTubers are loading up on it, loading up on the hype, trying to get you guys to pre-order the game and give more money to Bungie. I know I did a video on it myself talking about how Forsaken looked like a pretty interesting expansion along the levels of the Taken King, but also urged caution, giving Bungie's track record, and suggested that you not pre-order it and wait for actual reviews to come out. Well, as I've been digging a little further into this whole release with the Forsaken expansion, I've of course uncovered a few things. I'm a little late on this because obviously I haven't been paying much attention to Destiny 2 and just recently started looking into some of the stuff Bungie's have been up to. And I noticed that there is now going to be an annual pass that comes along with the Forsaken expansion if you choose to pick it up. Now, the Forsaken expansion itself is $40. The annual pass is another $35 on top of that, so you're looking at about $75 for the entire thing. And at first, when I first saw this, I was thinking, oh, this annual pass is going to be 3 DLC releases similar to Curse of Osiris and the Warmind that came with the original launch of Destiny 2 when you spent $100, for the game and for the first season pass or expansion pass or whatever the hell they called it back then. But I was wrong. Doing more investigation into this annual pass is nothing but some new armor and weapons that are going to be added in, some new Triumph records to go with your record book, something they're calling seasonal rewards, and then something about all new in-game activities and in-game content, which I'm assuming mean like they're going to add in raid layers and stuff like that. But there's no actual campaign or story content or actual expansion content that comes with this annual pass for $35. And they say there's going to be 3 premium content releases, fall, winter, and summer. This just blows me away. I cannot believe Bungie has the audacity to even try something like this at this point with the Destiny 2 community. Because reading through the stuff that the annual pass covers, this is the stuff that Eververse was supposed to take care of. I remember when there was such a huge uproar over Eververse and the loot boxes in Destiny 2, and then Bungie came out and said basically, well, Eververse exists so that if people want to spend money and buy the silver, that gives us additional money to continue to put new content and new armor and new experiences into the game. So they already had a cash shop, which was supposed to be putting this extra content, helping them make this extra content for Destiny 2. Now, in addition to that, they're going to start doing an annual pass where you're basically going to pay an extra $40 to get some exotic armor and some weapons and gear and some other in-game stuff added. And they're calling it premium content. This is not premium content to me, Bungie. Premium content would be you actually putting in a decent story DLC expansion that adds lore and adds narrative and adds quality content to the game. This is not worth $35. This is ridiculous. I can't believe, again, that Bungie has the audacity to do this at this point. It's almost like they're having this little competition with themselves. How much more money can we milk out of the Destiny 2 community? And I know that people are going to buy this in droves because that's just the way gamers are these days. It's the way the Destiny community is. It's why Bungie continues to do this stuff, because they never get punished for it. Everybody comes out in an uproar over Eververse, but yet people still spend tons of money on silver and buy stuff in the cash shop on cosmetic items. The Destiny 2 community right now is probably not what it once was because of all the problems they've had with Bungie this year, but still, they will flock back for this expansion. They will come running back to drop their $40 in this expansion and $35 on the annual pass. If it didn't work, Bungie wouldn't do it. It's the same reason they keep doing the same crap in Call of Duty over and over and over and over again, because people keep falling for it and people keep spending their money on it. If Bungie didn't make any money doing this, they wouldn't attempt it. But still, it just blows me away that they have this, that they're this arrogant that they would put something like this into the game. And not only just this annual pass, which doesn't even have any quality DLC or story expansion content within it, you also, in order to get the Destiny 2 Forsaken expansion, have to purchase all of the prior DLC for Destiny 2. So let's say you were a smart consumer, and instead of buying the season pass at the beginning and spending $100, you decided just to buy the $60 version of Destiny, or you waited a couple weeks for it to go on sale or be in the pre-owned pile at GameStop and you bought it for like $40 instead, or $30. Now, if you want to continue to play the game, if you are excited for what they've shown with Forsaken and you want to come back to the game, you essentially have to buy the Curse of Osiris, which is probably the worst DLC they ever did in Destiny history, including the Dark Below. You also have to buy Warmind DLC, which actually is not terrible. It's pretty good. I played through it and enjoyed it for the most part. But you have to spend another $40 on top of what you already bought, basically for nothing, because that content's going to be irrelevant once Forsaken comes out. And then you have to spend $40 on the Forsaken DLC. So, again, it's just their practices with the DLC, it's just bad business. It's horrible the way they do this. And they continue to get away with it. And it's one of the reasons I decided to make this video. Quite honestly, I've been making a couple of Destiny 2 videos lately, mainly to kind of return to being that critical voice that the game needs, because all over YouTube it's just hype for this new expansion. You know, they're just blowing their load all over Bungie again, because they've got a new expansion coming out. It's going to be like the Taken King. It's going to make the games awesome, and we need to just spend all our money on this and give Bungie our money and trust Bungie to do the right thing. And you know, even though Bungie has pretty much crapped all over their community with this game from the get-go, to the point where the population of the game fell off big time, they still haven't changed. And where I was somewhat looking forward to seeing what they did with the Forsaken expansion now, it's like I just can't even support anything this company does. I saw a good comment in another video where the guy said, yeah, I'm just getting an annual pass on Bungie games from now on. And I think that's probably good advice. They've just become such an arrogant studio. And it always just, you know, the fall from grace from the studio that they used to be when they made the Halo games. Just unreal. Shame on you, Bungie, for trying this crap. This is not what you need to be doing in order to get goodwill back with a community you've been screwing over for the better part of a couple years now. You know, and look, guys, I'm not one of those people that says, oh, DLC should be free. You know, I understand the concepts behind capitalism and all that. I don't mind seeing Forsaken being a $40 expansion at this point, because if it's similar in content to what was in the Taken King, it's probably going to be worth it. But I do have a problem with this annual pass garbage for the $35 for putting stuff into the game that is essentially what the Eververse cash shop was supposed to be doing in the first place. And for as much as they harped on the Eververse cash shop being used to create more content for the game, they haven't really done much with it. You can tell that money has gone right into Bungie's pocket, right into Activision's pocket. It hasn't really gone back into making Destiny 2 a more enjoyable experience. It's just, ugh. And the other thing, too, is with this expansion coming out, they're essentially going back to the original Destiny with the overall scheme of the game. It's like they're basically, Destiny 2, when they brought it out, they decided for some reason to throw out everything that made Destiny 1 good at the end and started all over with this brand new game, I guess, to try to attract new players to the franchise. I mean, it's so bad that you're going through some of these missions in the game, and your character, your ghost, has to remind you who the Fallen are. Your ghost has to remind you who the Taken are at one point. And it's like, wait a minute, really? Didn't we spend an entire, like, year of Destiny fighting the Taken and Oryx and all that stuff, and now our ghost has to tell us who they are again, even though we're supposedly the same character? So it's like they just completely dumbed it down and wanted to start all over again, which was a huge mistake. Because even in my opinion, Destiny was in a great spot at the end of its life cycle. It was in a very good spot, and if they could just built onto that, continued that, they'd have been fine. But instead, they did this nonsense, and now they're basically hitting the reset button with Forsaken and going back to what Destiny was with all the changes they're putting into the game, bringing back the random weapon rolls and all that good stuff. So, it's just unbelievable. And I'm knowing that this is Bungie. You have, like I said, you have to buy all the old DLC if you didn't, just to be able to play Forsaken. Then you're gonna have to pay for Forsaken, and then they've got this annual pass. And knowing Bungie, what they're also going to do is they're most likely going to come out with separate story DLC for the game and try to get another $20 to $30 off of you from that at some point. I will not surprise me in the least if they announce somewhere down the road when Forsaken comes out that, oh, hey, we're going to have another Vex expansion and a Cabal expansion and all this, and $20 a piece. And man, this, you know, for the lack of like MMO style content this game really has, it's amazing that they're trying to go like almost a paid subscription route with this game. I think they actually might even be better off doing that at some point with Destiny if they're going to continue this route, because for the amount of money they want you to pay, they simply aren't putting that much content into the game. And I know some people are going to say, well, I spent all these hours playing the game and I got my money's worth. And if they feel that way, that's great, good for them. But I just think it's very shady the way Bungie continues to do this stuff over and over and over again. And they want all this money for such an unpolished product. It's just unbelievable. And then they're going to start doing an annual or season pass for content that they should already be putting into the game sort of by default. Now you're going to have to pay for just regular content updates. Whereas even in Destiny, you know, with the April updates and things, they were doing this kind of stuff for free. You know, supposedly off the Eververse, you know, money that they were bringing in. So this just stinks all over the place, guys. This is just horribly bad business practices for Bungie, and they continue to do this over and over and over again. You know, you thought with the backlash they were getting from the community it would stop, but they're so arrogant now. They just, you know, they think their crap doesn't stink, and that they can just continue to do whatever they want and abuse the people that have supported them the most. And you're not going to hear this from too many of the Destiny YouTubers, because they're obviously still on board with Activision and Bungie. They're not going to, you know, I see a lot of them hyping up the Forsaken expansion, talking about it, talking about all the new characters and the gear and the loot and all the stuff you're going to get, and the Gambit game mode, which does look promising, but you're not going to hear any of them mention this, really. There's been a couple I've seen, but really for the most part, most of them are staying on the rah-rah, you know, pump up Bungie hype train. And I just wanted to make this video to kind of counteract a lot of the stuff that's going on. I know I have a very small subscriber base, but if I can even convince a couple people to not pre-order this game and to kind of start holding Bungie accountable, that's the goal here. The goal here is to provide a critical voice that sort of counters some of that other stuff out there, because it just blows me away that Bungie still is doing this to this day. And this annual pass is utter garbage. This is absolute nonsense. I hope no one buys it. I honestly at this point hope this game flops completely, and that Activision winds up cutting ties with Bungie and leaves them like in a freaking crater. They don't deserve to really have success as a studio anymore with how far they've fallen. With the type of crap they start pulling here with some of this stuff in Destiny 2. So anyways, guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I'd love to hear your comments down below as always. Thank you as always for watching. Hope you guys are having a great day, and I will see you again next time.